ॐ स्वस्ति नो गोविन्दः स्वस्ति नो अच्युतानन्तः स्वस्ति नो वासुदेवो विष्णुर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो नारायणो नरो वै स्वस्ति नो पद्मनाभः पुरुषोत्तमो दधातु स्वस्ति नो विश्वक्सेनो विश्वेश्वरः स्वस्ति नो ऋषिकेशो हरिर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो वैनातेयो हरिः स्वस्ति नो अञ्जनासुतो हनुर्भागवतो ददातु स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमङ्गलैकेशो महान् श्रीकृष्ण सच्चिदानन्दगण सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Can do kirtan, meanwhile.
हमारा लेकिन दो है
हरे ओम ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादि गोविंद सर्वकरणं चिंतामणि प्रकटसद्म विकल्प वृक्ष मनसा सुरभि रविपालयन्तं लक्ष्मी सहस्रशतसङ्गमसेव्यमान गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं वेणं पुनस्तमरविन्ददलाय दर्शं हरहावतं समधितं प्रसन्नन्दर्पकोटिकमणिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
Hare His divine grace. Swami Sri Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Skandividi Foundation Divine Grace Prabhupada ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Prince Hosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Vasivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Shanakunda Thakunde Giri Govardhan ki Sri Vrindavan Dham ki Sri Dwarka Dham ki Sri Jagannath Dham ki Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Sri Mayapur Chankradan Mandir ki Gangamai Jugamai ki Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki Harinama Sankirtan ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki Translated Distribution ki Jai Sri Vanita ki Jai Sri Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra DT ki Jai Sri Krishna Balarama ki Jai Sri Devotional ki Jai Sri Radha Madhava ki Jai Mithai Gaur Kimanande All Bloody Sugi Samagavatis All Bloody Sugi Samagavatis All Bloody Sugi Samagavatis All Bloody to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga All Bloody to Sri Prabhupada ki Special day today.
Yes.
Yeah.
करता नहीं तो महाराज बोलो
Did we bring the harmonium? We did, huh? Did somebody want to play the harmonium at some time?
Yeah, so it's fine actually because
It's okay.
there is not many people who can.
Yeah.
It'll be fine with that. You can live with it.
He can play Mridanga. Yeah, Mridanga.
कोई बजाने वाला इतना ज़्यादा है नहीं, किसी
Oh yeah, then we can bring that.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajadana Randana
Jasodanandana Brajaganarandana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Jai Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Dhari Jasodanandana Brajaganarandana Jasodanandana Brajaganarandana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Kunda Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Ask Pratik if a boy Prabhu is coming, maybe he needs a ride here, I don't know. Ask maybe he needs a ride by car. I don't know. Find out. Ask Pratik. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagachaja Stotra Satta Sri Simad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON DT Founder Acharya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinama Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. So Arati will be once the deities are dressed and everything, right? So basically after the class.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Do we have? We must have Bhagavatam, Canto 1.
We have Bhagavad Gita, but not Bhagavatam yet.
Oh, is it? Huh?
Yes, not at this hour. I have my
Okay.
house, so
Okay.
when we
Well,
moved here,
I have the
together.
Bhagavatam here, fortunately.
I have in my iPad also. So if iPad is fine, I can bring in my iPad.
Well, iPad is iPad. It's okay. It's okay. I'm accustomed to this one. That's fine. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksuram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakambikam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarujasya Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesa badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya lokasya
Nishreyasaya lokasya
Dhanyam swasyayanam mahat.
Dhanyam swasya namaha.
The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhara,
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Sri Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyai Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangom langayate girim yatripatamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yatripatamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Welcome everyone to, I guess, a special class in a special place on a special day. Today is, as we know, or should all know, is the most auspicious day of Lord Jagannath's return after being away from his residence for the last 8 days. So it is known in India as Ultarat, the return Rat. Many, many years ago, I had the great fortune of, that was the only time, I never attended a Rath Yatra festival, but I attended Ultarat, which is basically the same. Yeah, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. So on this very special day, auspicious day, we are here in the residence of Pratik Prajapati and family for a very special purpose and occasion of actually inviting Lord Jagannath himself, along with his brother and sister, Balaram Ji and Subhadra Mai. And we also have our Vishnu Ratha Prabhu, who kindly consented to be, you could say, master of ceremony to make all of this happen. And we have other guests who are here, small group, but thankful for everyone to be here for this a special event. So normally, of course, we are meant to hear something from the Bhagavatam every day. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya was residing in Jagannath Puri, as we know, Lord Jagannath resided how many years in Jagannath Puri? Actually, 24 minus 6, 18 years, like continuously. Lord Chaitanya, as we know, he took sannyas at the age of 24, traveled for some time. Some purports are coming. But actually, the last 18 years of Lord Chaitanya's manifest pastime in Jagannath Puri was fully, completely, he was totally residing there. And it is said, this is nicely explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the last 12 years of those 18 years, he was completely secluded, basically, without any interaction, except for two devotees, two of his most confidential associates, as we know, Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. And actually, both of them were extremely well versed in Shastra, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, because for devotees of Krishna, and especially in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Srimad Bhagavatam is like the, that's why it's called Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has nicely given us, as we all know, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is even beyond, actually, the Bhagavatam, in that all of the wonderful instructions that are given in what is meant to be the most important book of knowledge on the planet. What's the most important book of knowledge on the planet? We'll ask our young devotee here. What's the most important book in the world? Bhagavatam. Very close. Actually, it's Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is there. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, both the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita are contained. So that's why it was nicely explained. Prabhupada mentioned how his Guru Maharaj one time gave that nice example that if all the books in the world and all the libraries in the colleges and universities were to be destroyed and only the Bhagavad Gita remained, there would be no loss. And then he went on to say, if all the books in the world, including the Bhagavad Gita, were to be destroyed and only the Bhagavatam remains, there would be no loss. And then he went on to also explain that if all the books in the world, including the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, were destroyed and only Chaitanya Charitamrita remains, there would be no loss. Yes. So we have, by the mercy of our Vaishnavacharyas, such a wealth of information, such a wealth of deep, very profound knowledge, which is very, very unique actually to our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And I'll just choose one verse actually from one of the very well-known and probably one of the more important chapters of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is chapter 2, entitled Divinity and Divine Service. Yes. And actually it is from that chapter that Srila Prabhupada, when he went to the Western countries, in his wonderful prayer upon arriving in the US, he inserted actually in his prayer these 5 verses from, beginning with Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Rijanta Stoya Badrani Vidunuti Surit Satam. So actually in the last few days, well, yesterday precisely, I was giving class at the temple and I happened to mention something which some of you may not know, because I didn't know about it till also a few days ago. It's always good to know about new things, especially, important things. Of course, the whole Facebook is all about knowing new things, but most of those new things are not important. Yeah, right. So there's a very important event coming up, which is coinciding, or actually which is directly what is called Srila Prabhupada, I have to get it right now. Huh? Thank you. I was looking for that word, connect. Srila Prabhupada Connect Day. That's the official title, which coincides with, actually, it's the 58th anniversary of the foundation or registration, incorporation actually, of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And there's a wonderful event that is being planned 3 days, beginning on the 27th. The actual day is the 29th. It will culminate on the 29th. And there are different devotees who will be speaking on each of the 7 purposes of ISKCON. That's a whole topic in itself, and by Krishna's arrangement, and only by Krishna's arrangement, I'll be speaking on one of those 7 purposes also. And it's purpose number 6, which is which is especially very dear to the heart of Mataji Gandhari, who, which is connected, of course, with the whole yet to be fully appreciated, yet to be fully understood, yet to be fully known, Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. And that is one of the reasons I'm here in Mayapur, and I think it's the reason for others being in Mayapur. Because one of the most important aspects, well, first of all, none of this can be can become a reality. None of this can be understood also unless individuals, unless devotees actually become very firmly, very strongly embedded in the mode of goodness. See, Krishna consciousness is all about goodness, but not just ordinary goodness. Ours is about pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, isn't it? And pure goodness actually means bhakti, devotional service. And bhakti, nitya siddha. It is the eternal perfection of all living entities. Krishna bhakti nitya siddha sadhya kabunoi sravanadi sudachete kara udoy, by the hearing process. And this Krishna bhakti janmamul hoy sadhu sangam. It can only come actually by being fortunate to get the good association of devotees. So Srila Prabhupada actually established this Society for Krishna Consciousness, especially to give to the whole world, in pursuance of the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, this knowledge of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it's amazing actually, because from the very early beginning, even before Prabhupada went to the Western countries, it was all in his mind. You know, great personalities like Srila Prabhupada, they are visionaries. They see ahead, you know. And so he had the whole plan for systematically introducing. As a matter of fact, that word systematic is right there in the first of the 7 purposes, isn't it? To systematically introduce, propagate, and educate people in the science of Krishna consciousness. So, in order for that to happen, of course, we have to take shelter of the Lord in one of His many forms, either directly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or just like we are here in Mayapur, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Shri Gauranitai, beginning to walk, huh? She's walking? She is walking, huh? Okay, yeah. And of course Lord Jagannath. These are the three most important places actually for Vaishnavas. Sridham Mayapur, Vrindavan Dham, and Jagannath Puri, isn't it? I was just discussing yesterday how Jagannath Puri is described as Bhava Vrindavan. You know that, eh? Bhava Vrindavan. Bhava. Yeah, Mayapur is Gupta Vrindavan. Jagannath Puri is Bhava Vrindavan because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in that bhava, was in that mood of separation actually from Vrindavan. So all of our acharyas, they understood this very great mission of Lord Krishna, which is the same mission that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has. Every personality, every incarnation actually has a particular kind of specialty. And we all know, of course, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is described as the most munificent incarnation. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuse Namaha. Very easily he awards actually Krishna Prema, which is the highest level of self-realization. So although that is true, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to go, we say, step by step. So in the beginning, actually, Srila Prabhupada, well, actually, he did speak about Varnashram. He spoke about Varnashram even before going to America. It's right there in the essay on Gita Nagari, even before that. So Srila Prabhupada was very much anxious to introduce this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and he mentioned on a number of occasions how there was still, very famous exchange, very important also, that took place in Vrindavan. One devotee was asking Srila Prabhupada, this was near the end of Prabhupada's manifest pastime. Prabhupada, do you have any, do you have any lamentation? Do you have any regrets or lamentation? Prabhupada said no. Then, after pausing a few minutes, he said, actually I do. I have one lamentation. And then the devotee who was asking the question, he followed up and he said, is it because you were not able to complete the translation of the Bhagavatam? And Prabhupada said, no. I have one lamentation. That lamentation is because I have not been able to introduce Varnasrama. This is recorded, actually. Recorded means it's been told by devotees who were physically present there. So this remains something extremely important, and anyone who studies a little bit about Varnasrama and the whole, let's say, Vedic culture will understand, it's not difficult to understand, that actual Varnasrama mission, which is basically to organize society. It's one thing to give spiritual direction, transcendental knowledge, which is of course most important, but to organize society is actually the duty and the responsibility of Kshatriyas. And therefore, unless we have individuals who are trained on the principles of Dharma in the context of organizing society, protecting the principles of Dharma, then the actual mission of the Lord, which he explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, will actually not happen. So this is a very major topic, of course, And maybe you can find out, Vishwarata Prabhu, how much time they may need, just to give me an idea. Yeah. But in the same way that Srila Prabhupada very systematically introduced,
10 minutes.
okay, in the way that, same way that Srila Prabhupada introduced very systematically the the preaching mission when especially going to the Western countries, he actually introduced this in 4 distinct phases. And we're going to be talking about this. I will be talking more in detail about this actually later on this month, because it's still very less known to most devotees. But Prabhupada formulated this many years ago, and he demonstrated practically when he went to America. And the first of those phases, which Prabhupada referred to as movements, was his going to Townsend Square Park. And what did Prabhupada do there? He chanted Hare Krishna, right? So the chanting of the holy name and simultaneously the distribution of, at that time basically there was only like Back to Godhead magazine or pamphlets. So books and the holy name, that is part of the first phase. And then of course, within a very short time, Srila Prabhupada, as we know, established his first temple, 26 2nd Avenue. Then the second was in San Francisco, like this. Third was in Montreal, then Boston, like that. So there was a whole planned system actually to introduce the mission. Books in the holy name, then establishing temples, and then actually giving proper training and education. That means developing congregation. Of course, the first congregation was the devotees themselves who joined. As a matter of fact, in those early days, I'm sure you've heard this before, our way of thinking in those early days was that if you're not in the temple, you're in Maya. If you don't join as a full-time devotee, you're in Maya. We've come a long way, fortunately. And so there are different types of congregation, and over the years, very popular. We have a ministry for congregation. His Holiness Japtak Maharaj is the director or a minister for congregational development. So that's a huge undertaking, of course, and it started with the Namhata program many years ago, actually way back in 1979. And then Bhakti Vriksha, youth preaching, all of these are different types of congregation. Prabhupada himself started Life Membership, which is another type of congregation. Preaching to the scientists. Scientists are another kind of congregation. So that was the third actually phase, and there's this fourth phase, which is still to be taken up, and that fourth phase is referring to actually how to organize society, how to reach out to members at large, society at large, and especially in a place like India, basically it means the villages, because majority of people are still living in villages. In many countries, like Indonesia as well, a majority of people, although that's unfortunately reducing every year because of the whole modern propaganda for becoming more and more urbanized. So actually our Vedic culture gives great importance to this type of living, which is actually in villages. That's a whole topic in itself, but it's very intimately, very directly connected with this fourth phase or fourth movement that Prabhupada spoke about. So we are fortunate today to be part of this ceremony, which as we just performed. Actually, we all had the opportunity to be part of the Abhishek ceremony to Lord Jagannath, Baladeva, and Subhadra. And within a few minutes, they will be making their grand appearance. And, yes, and the cameraman is ready. It seems, yeah. This will be the first arati that will be performed to them, and actually, whenever such events take place in somebody's home, obviously that home is blessed, immensely blessed, because having the direct presence of the Lord in His Archa Vigraha form is something very special, which only devotees can actually begin to appreciate. But having the Archa Vigraha form in our home is like living in, well, in this case, in Jagannath Puri, because Lord Jagannath resides in Jagannath Puri. Or Vrindavan, yeah. I mean, Bhava Vrindavan, correct, yes. So, our whole objective, of course, as we all know, as our acharyas, our Vaishnava acharyas have taught us, is to go back to that original abode in the spiritual world that we call Goloka Vrindavan. Meantime, we have opportunity to visit and to live and reside in different places that are directly Vrindavan as well, either Gupta Vrindavan, Bhava Vrindavan. In South India, there's Dakshin Vrindavan also. Udupi Krishna. Udupi is performing his Bala Leela in Udupi, so that is known as Dakshin Vrindavan. And of course, every home, every grihastha has that opportunity to have deities, and Prabhupada instructed actually that very important for householders to have deities at home. Otherwise, if there's no deity at home upon which the grihasthas can focus, the tendency will be to focus on one another or on other things, whatever. So Krishna needs to be the center of our lives, and especially very important for householders. And in this way, I remember many years ago in Toronto, visiting some of our devotee householders and all the members of the family. I mean, in this particular home, I forget the devotee's name, it's been a long time. He had actual, big deities of Radha and Krishna, and every day they would perform arati, they would perform all kinds of, like in a temple, practically speaking, and all the members of the family would, make garlands or offer food, prepare like that. There's so many things that need to be done. And so this is a wonderful opportunity that that you are getting, you and the rest of the family here. So it is definitely Lord Jagannath's mercy upon you. And this is happening and is meant to happen more and more throughout the world, actually, that the Lord will be directly present in the homes of devotees. And of course, the more this happens, then that simply increases more and more the auspiciousness that is meant to be there, that is very much needed in the world today. Practically speaking, I think 10 minutes is about... Yes. We're following the same schedule, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. So if things are more or less ready, then we will bring to our close our short Bhagavatam class this morning, and we will continue with the nectar that is going on. Haribol. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki, Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna.